Let's look at what's a normal amount of worry, what we can and can't control and how this affects worry, and ways to reduce worry and let worry go during the day and when we're trying to sleep. When we're stressed, it's normal to worry. Worry tends to be about the future and trying to avoid negative outcomes. However, sometimes worry starts to take over our lives. We get stuck in a loop of trying to solve endless worst-case scenarios. Now, our level of worry shouldn't be a set amount. Rather, it should be on a spectrum. When we're facing less stress, our worry should decrease. But everybody's different in how well they manage worry and let worry go. But when worry is impacting key areas of our life, like sleep, appetite, concentration, and enjoyment, then having ways to manage this can help reduce the impact. Uncertainty can play a big factor in worry. When something is uncertain, we lack a level of control. This can lead to a feeling of discomfort, so we might try to figure out all the possible outcomes to try to regain control, potentially spending hours going over scenarios on repeat. But does this help? Because we can't gain full certainty, no matter how much we worry, it's not actually changing the outcome. It can feel productive, with thoughts such as, if I don't worry, bad things will happen and I won't have prevented it. This can become exhausting. The more we grasp for control, the less we seem to have, because life will always be uncertain to some extent. Sometimes worries start building up when we keep avoiding important tasks, such as paying bills, and we panic about the possible consequences. We might have a level of control, but addressing these worries can feel overwhelming, and we find ourselves avoiding tasks and stuck in a worry loop that just keeps spiraling. So how do we start managing worry? We can use a strategy called the worry tree to distinguish between two types of worry and respond to them in a different way. Firstly, we need to acknowledge that we're worrying and take a moment to ask ourselves, what are we worrying about? Once we've identified the worry, the key question is, can I do anything about it? Do I have control over the outcome? We will then choose one of two categories for the worry. Either it's a current problem, it is actually happening and you have some level of control. Or it's a hypothetical problem. It hasn't happened, may never happen, and you have little or no control over it. An example is if your boiler breaks. This is a current problem. It has happened and you can do something about it. The hypothetical version would be, what if my boiler breaks in 6 months? It hasn't happened and may never happen. If it is a current problem, we want to address this by creating an action plan. Ideally doing this when you notice the worry, rather than putting it off. However, if you can't action plan it in the moment, set a time when you will do it. For the broken boiler example, we might call some local plumbers, organise to stay at a friend's, or create a budget plan if we know the costs. By dealing with the current problem, our worry reduces because we are taking control of the situation. For the worries that are hypothetical, we want to work on letting them go, because they may never happen, and we can spend hours trying to problem solve these, where the outcome is lost time, feeling exhausted, and increased anxiety. Check out the video called How to Start Calming Anxiety for further information on how worst-case scenario thinking feeds anxiety. Acknowledging that we have little or no control of the outcome can help us let go of these worries, but sometimes we need some strategies to help. Writing worries down has been shown to help. Allocate 1 hour a day when you allow yourself to worry about hypothetical problems. Choose a set time each day for your hour. Then write down your hypothetical problems as you notice them. Then go back to the task you are doing knowing you will deal with the problem later. During your allocated hour, read through your list of worries and spend the time trying to problem solve them. Often the worries on the list are no longer as important and some may have resolved themselves without you doing anything. This gives you permission to worry without consuming hours of your day. Once the hour is up, put the list away until the next day. Sometimes we manage fine during the day. Then as soon as we try to sleep, all the worries we could imagine come into our mind. It can feel like torture. All we want to do is sleep, but our mind is in overdrive. When this is happening, we can use distraction techniques to pull our mind away from the worry. These include counting backwards from 100, taking away 6 each time. Choosing a category, such as food, films or sport, and naming as many as you can, and do this in alphabetical order for more of a challenge. You can also use imagery distraction, where you imagine yourself in an interesting place doing an engaging activity, like talking to friends at a barbecue on a sunny day, or being on holiday and walking around local attractions. Go into detail when imagining the scene. And if you've been lying in bed trying to sleep for 20 minutes, get up and do something non-stimulating that doesn't involve screens, such as reading a book or having a decaffeinated hot drink. Then return to bed when you feel tired. And if you're still awake after 20 minutes, repeat this and get up. This breaks the association we may have with being in bed and worrying. And it can take time to reduce worry. These strategies are like new habits. The more we practice them, the more skilled we become at using them. And external expectations and demands can increase stress. Evaluating where the stress is coming from and trying to reduce this can have a big impact on reducing worry. This might mean doing less so you can focus on what's important, or asking for help when you're juggling too much. So to summarise, worry is normal, but it should adjust to the level of stress we are under, and when it's impacting key areas of our life, we want to address this. Use the worry tree to divide worries into current and hypothetical problems. Action plan how you're going to problem solve what you have control over, and work on letting hypothetical worries go by writing them down. Use distraction techniques that refocuses the mind when letting go is difficult. Prolonged worry can really affect mental health. Please access support if this is happening to you.